Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of AMA Air. I'm Chris Savage.
And I'm Erin Dobbs. Coming up today, we're going to take a trip down memory lane with some beautiful scale warbirds.
And we'll tell you about one club who used a Takeoff and Grow grant to host an event. But as always, let's get started with some news from around the hobby.
For those in the Rocky Mountain region, you can mark your calendars now for the newest trade show. The Rocky Mountain Hobby Expo will take place October 28th and 29th at Denver Mart in Denver, Colorado. According to the event website, this new expo has two goals: to promote family-oriented hobbies and to connect manufacturers with retailers and consumers in one event. Tickets are $12 each and can be purchased in advance at select hobby shops, events, online, or by mail. AMA members can save $2 on online registration with the promo code AMA 2017. Visit RockyMountainHobby-Expo.com for more information.
AMA, DJI, and Fly Robotics will be presenting a public safety training workshop as part of the pre-conference offerings at Drone World Expo 2017, taking place on October 3rd and 4th at the San Jose Convention Center. The workshop will be held on Monday, October 2nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and again from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
The 2017 Multi-GP Drone Racing Champion will be crowned this weekend in Reno, Nevada. 145 pilots have qualified and will compete in the four-day event being held alongside the Reno Air Races. And you'll be able to follow along with the championship finals on Sunday, September 17th at multigp.com.
Earlier this year, Congress began looking at the FAA reauthorization, and the House is continuing to express an interest in pushing it through. However, the September 30th deadline is quickly approaching, and the bill may not have time to successfully navigate the legislative process. If it fails to make it through by the deadline, the bill may undergo a continuing resolution, which basically means the deadline will be extended. John Thune of the Senate Commerce Committee working on FAA reauthorization told Politico that an extension was likely. He said, "I think we're sort of now coming to the conclusion that if we're going to end up doing a short-term extension, that we'll probably use the short-term extension to figure out how we will finally transact the broader FAA bill." For more government relations updates, visit www.modelaircraft.org/gov.
As cleanup and rebuilding efforts are underway in the wake of Hurricane Harvey and Irma, it is important to remember how drones, when properly managed, can and should be used to help those affected get back on their feet. In the aftermath of these natural disasters, multiple temporary flight restrictions were issued because flying drones without a proper permission could interfere with local, state, and federal rescue and recovery missions. But with authorization from the FAA, some UAS can be extremely helpful during disaster relief.
The FAA has issued several waivers for insurance surveying, journalism, and tower inspections, but drones are also incredibly useful for emergency response teams. For example, the Texas A&M University Center for Robot Assisted Search and Rescue, or CRASAR, team was deployed in the aftermath of Harvey to support the Fort Bend County of Emergency Management, coordinating the largest known deployment of UAS by public officials during a federally declared disaster. According to CRASAR, it flew 119 mission flights from August 25th to September 4th, with a record 61 flights on one day. These missions were primarily used to monitor areas of flooding, survey the extent of flood and tornado damage, and identify those in need of help and evacuation.
While the usefulness of drones in emergency situations should not be overlooked, the airspace needs to be clear for emergency responders. UAS pilots should not take it upon themselves to fly and conduct individual recovery missions. Only pilots with a waiver from the FAA or those who are working with the emergency response team should be flying UAS during disasters such as Hurricanes Harvey and Irma.
As always, everyone should be prepared for any type of emergency or natural disaster. If you would like to volunteer as a future drone pilot for disaster relief, contact your local public safety agencies and start building those relationships before any disaster occurs.
After the break, we're going to visit the Indiana Warbird Campaign and find out why recreating the past has become a 14-year tradition. Stick around.
Your AMA membership allows you to plug into our community of more than 2,400 clubs. It's your ticket to participate in one of the thousands of events nationwide. and it provides you with access to a wealth of informational resources. Through these benefits and many others, your AMA membership helps you enjoy model aviation.
Labor Day weekend is usually a time filled with cookouts and fun with the family. Well, Labor Day weekend also marks a big event here at AMA headquarters. The Indiana Warbird Campaign is in its 14th year and features gorgeous models from all eras and a breathtaking air show with battle reenactments and pyrotechnics. Let's take a look at the Indiana Warbird Campaign.
This is the beginning part of the war. They had to launch them from an aircraft carrier.
Actually, this is my second year. So I came out last year, got to do the event and just saw all the amazing airplanes. And that was the first year that I brought my Tuskegee Airman airplane out to this Warbird fly-in.
We're not here to glorify the events that took place in history, but we are trying to memorialize them, remember that you know, a number of people worked very hard to maintain the freedoms that we have, and in a lot of cases we have gentlemen and ladies that come out here who served in the military, and it brings back some good memories from those folks that they, you know, we do some reenactments and they just enjoy what we do.
That is really neat when you have that many airplanes up in the air and you're flying around. And this year they had the pyrotechnics, and I was able to do the scraping run, which was fantastic. And just flying around with the other airplanes, like I said, it's just an incredible feeling just to be up there with history, basically. That's what this is. And just representing the Tuskegee Airmen, which they were talking about, and I heard them talking about it on the announcements. I was pretty proud of that moment.
What Linda tries to do during the air show is to pick a classic event from World War II or Vietnam, or even World War I for that matter, and try to reenact that to some extent. So it's not just a specific group of airplanes from an era. She tries to weave a little history into it as well, so there's a little bit more of a story.
I actually love the jets, and so my best friend said, hey, listen, you should start flying some of these Warbirds, come to the events. So last year was my first time coming out to the Warbirds events, and I have completely fallen in love with it at this point. You come out here and you meet all these people, and then you don't see them all winter, and then all of a sudden you get to see them again. You become friends over the seasons. And so it's enjoyable to come out and see this fellas that you just saw and flew with. And this, the camaraderie is great. And actually to see the workmanship of their airplanes too.
Seeing them on the ground and admiring the craftsmanship that goes into them, and then those same pilots, you know, have the skill and the talent to take off and fly it realistically. Hot dogging is easy. Anybody can do that. It takes some talent and some skill to fly realistic and make the airplane look as real as possible. And these guys do a remarkable job of that. Even, you know, the World War I types, very graceful, for me, are really fun to watch.
We had a great time at the Indiana Warbird Campaign. If you want to learn more about the event, head over to www.indianawarbird.campaign.com and start planning your visit for next year.
Well, coming up, we'll tell you about one club's Community Fly-In Day. We'll be right back.
Want more news and stories from the AMA and Model Aviation magazine? Subscribe to the new Media Minute newsletter. You'll get a quick look at some of the stories you might have missed from model aviation right in your inbox. And for the drone and helicopter enthusiasts, the new Rotor Report is just for you. You'll find stories, tips and tricks, product reviews, and more from the world of helicopters and drones that will get your props spinning. Find these newsletters and others at www.modelaircraft.org/publications.
For us here at AMA and for members who love model aviation, growing the hobby is essential to its future. One of the ways the AMA promotes growth is through the Takeoff and Grow, or TAG program. TAG is designed to encourage members and clubs to promote modeling in their communities with a hands-on approach, and grants are available to clubs participating in the program. Props RC Club was one recipient of the grant, and members hosted an AMA-sanctioned event called Community Fly-In Day. The day began with a ground school covering the basics of how and where to fly. Throughout the day, several pilots provided demo flights. According to club members, the event was a success, and the TAG grant was essential to reaching people in the community. For more information on the TAG program, visit amaflightschool.org.
Well, that's all we have for this episode of AMA Air. If you have a story you think we should have on the show, visit air.modelaircraft.org and tell us about it by sending us an airmail.
And if you're not already a member of AMA, visit modelaircraft.org and sign up today.
We'll see you next time, everybody. But for now, it's time to get flying.